Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kit Plus Video, Competitor Analysis, and Market Research. So here's the thing, like the previous template plus guide or whatever you want to call it thing I did, which was the project requirements document template for web and design dev agencies. The idea is same here. If you are a solo freelancer or a small agency or business who's trying to offer more services and solutions for their clients, or even if you're someone who's a manager or a senior person at any company trying to offer some extra value to the stakeholders above the chain, these kind of templates and guides, what I'm making is from my experience in the industry, and they will help you offer, better services and solutions, basically. The other thing that I always highlight whenever I try to, do these things is like, hey, what makes my version of this special compared to, like, if you can just go Google competitor analysis and market research? First of all, it is always good luck because of SEO spam and companies trying to, capitalize on Google search. Finding helpful material is not that easy anymore, to be honest. And the other thing is, I always try to cater my kit and template guides to specific key areas that provide the biggest ROI for your effort. What that means is, like, this has what I think from my experience in the industry, only the important chunks of information you should be working on. And then, all of the different parts within this template can very well be their own service if you go deep enough or get enough expertise in those subject matter. But as a whole, this is a holistic way of doing a market research and analysis style engagement with your clients, for your stakeholders, etc., etc. So let's get into it. For this kit, it is a bit more reading heavy. So I did a small article on my website, which you can read through. But basically, I go over the key aspects and I'm going to show some of them on this video. So how I divide my market research and competitor analysis activities is in 3 to 4 chunks. First of all, the most important bit is figuring out the competition, right? Everyone wants to know that. So what we have here is like, okay, who are the direct competitors, the secondary competitors, and the indirect competitors? Now, depending on the product or business, or maybe it's another agency you're doing it, this will be very different and challenging to carry out. My recommendation always is like, hey, get comfortable using tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs, because that's an excellent way to know how to quickly find competing keywords or competing industries, especially when it comes to online businesses, right? And for offline businesses, you can always go to something like Google Maps and just search the business category, and it typically does a good job of showing the different products and services in the area. But what is the difference between direct, secondary, and indirect competitors? For that, I have a pretty helpful image that will simplify it. So direct competitors, think of it as like they're doing the exact same thing that you're setting out to do. Same product, same market, and same price point, or sometimes you'll see this as same revenue goals or monetary goals. Those are your direct competitors. So let's say you're selling pizzas, someone else selling pizzas at similar price point in the similar market in your area will be a direct competitor. Then we have secondary competitors. For secondary competitors, it's the same product, but it's in a different market or in a different price point, or both, a combination of both. A common example of this is like cars, right? You have some brands who will be selling a car that's bang for the buck. It's a budget car. It's a car, but at the same time, there are other brands that are selling a very premium car, which is also a car, but it will have specific features or branding or just the outlook that certain people will aspire to more than the other brand. So yeah, it will be the same product, but different market, different price point. And then we have indirect competitors, where now we flip it around. It's a different product. So if you're selling car, they're not selling cars, but the audience might be similar. So people you're trying to sell the car to, they're selling their services to as well. So a common example can be, let's stick to cars again. Let's say you're selling cars, then mechanic shops or auto workshops or car wash, car detailing services, right? They're also selling to the people who have cars. So they're offering services to the same clientele that you have, perhaps in the same market. And obviously the price point will be different because the product is not same. So why do we look at these 3 different kinds of categories? Well, the reasons are obvious. The direct competitors will give you the best analysis of what's working in the market right now and also what's not working, where you can improve, where there are opportunities, where there's a gap to fill in, right? The secondary competitors will tell you how to limit the scope of your product and business. How do you stand out? They will help you refine your unique selling proposition, and they will help you cater to an audience, specifically. So a common example of this would be like in the software as a service world. Most of the big companies, they've gotten to a point where their messaging is no longer clear and they do everything under the sun. And you can disrupt the market by being catered to one specific audience and just offering a very good service for much cheaper price, because you're not trying to do everything under the sun, right? So that is a good way to disrupt the industry by looking at your secondary competitors, so on and so forth. And then indirect competitors, they help you refine your features or your user experience, because there's always some things you can learn from outside of the box approach, right? The direct and secondary competitors might be missing something that the indirect competitors might have unlocked. And if you look at that approach, you could be like, hey, why don't I do that? A good example of this I give is gamification, right? Gamification was something that's working in gaming for a very long time. Leaderboards, score charts, achievements, so on and so forth. They work really well in games. So the SaaS industry or product industry was like, hey, why can't we just have gamification elements in our apps and products and services? Because that helps people use the app more or get rewarded for certain actions, keep track of everything, so on and so forth. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it works. And clearly, a lot of apps has adopted this indirect feature from a lot of other industries. So you do your research, you've listed all your competitors, direct, secondary, indirect. Now what? Now we come to analysis, parameters, and key takeaway. So what are analysis parameters, right? So there are going to be a bunch of different things, but basically it is a set of metrics or a set of key areas you want to focus your findings and outputs based around, right? So this image does a good job of showing some company specific, target customer specific, product specific, positioning specific parameters that you can use to judge the different competitors that you have shortlisted, right? My favorite competitor parameters analysis is, hey, if you're doing a competitor analysis for a product kind of business, go for user experience, design UI, unique selling proposition, content and messaging, and pricing points. Those are typically the 4 to 5 things you want to be looking out for in your competitors. If you're doing it for a service-based business, then go for customer reviews, service areas, client onboarding. Again, content and messaging is just important through and throughout any business. And then how they work and contract policies. If you ever work with any kind of service business, this is a very painful thing when there are malicious contracts or no refund policies, stuff like that, right? So if someone is being transparent, like, hey, we work with you in this way and we have an easy onboarding and offboarding process, that matters a lot, right? So if you're doing a competitor analysis for a service industry, do try to look into this, as I think it's a very high value benchmark for you to base your analysis on. You decide your parameters and then you do what? You open this Excel sheet. It will be attached in the template guide kit as well. List down all the companies, list down the URLs, or if it's an app, some key takeaways and design direction. So if you have a designer in your team, especially a UX designer, they will do an amazing job at this. This example I'm showing you right now was done by a UX designer who helped me a couple of years ago. And as you can see, you have your different companies laid out. You have your parameters analysis on the left-hand side, and then you go by scoring all the different parameters as to how well the company does. So you can have a scale of 1 to 3, 1 to 5, whatever works best for you. Once you do all that, you average out the different values, and then it's up to you how you want to present the information, right? So for this one, what the UX designer did was make a spider web chart. But it's up to you how you want to show it. It could be a graph, could be like a pie chart, whatever is the best visual representation that you feel like does the best job of doing it. It's open to you. I don't want to lock you down into a certain thing. I'm just showing you the way. How you want to travel the journey is up to you. Then we come to the SWOT analysis and elevator pitch. This is another value add that I think is really important if you're doing a market research and competitor analysis for clients, is do a SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis is pretty common. Everyone knows what it is. It's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, right? But what's good here is since you've done all the competitor research, the primary, secondary, and indirect, you have a good idea of the market now, right? You have a good market understanding. So now when you do a SWOT analysis, you're going to have a really good approach to when you answer to the questions that are listed here. Again, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. You can just Google what are the typical elements of a SWOT analysis. You can see some of the questions here. My recommendation usually is that you craft these questions in your perspective and then get on a call with the client or the stakeholder and, walk them through these, and they'll give you their answers. And then you have your findings, you merge them on a document, and your SWOT analysis is complete. Moving on, the last thing would be elevator pitch. So elevator pitch is basically, a one-liner to explain what your product or business does. There's a pretty well-known format for this out there. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel again, which is this format I've listed here with an example. If you download the resource, I'll also give you a filled out example, which I did for a software development support agency a while back, which gives you my way of doing it if that interests you. So once you've done all this research, all the analysis, all the scoring and benchmarking, the end output or the thing that ties it all nicely together is market trends and learning, right? So market trends and learning is a section. You can do it as a one-pager. You can do it as a summary. You can do it as a screenshot. My favorite way of doing it is like this. Let me show you. Where I will say, what are the key learnings I have? How did I find those out? I'll explain my process. And what are the implications for that, for your business or service or product, so on and so forth. You can show it in blocks like this. You can do it on a document as you see fit. Once all the activities are done, you can create a slide deck. You can create a 3-4 page written document or whatever works best for your business or your needs. Again, I have attached another example here that was done by a UX designer. So having a designer is always good. So you can do something like this, where you can list out all the direct, secondary, indirect competitors / benchmarks. You can do, hey, here were my parameters of analysis. And then you can show the competitors, primary, secondary, so on and so forth, ending with the SWOT, the market trends and learning. I believe there was no elevator pitch for this one, but again, as I said, I'll attach an example for that too. So here's the thing. In the product world and even the business world, market is a really important thing to get a good grip on, because there's this common line: when a great team meets a lousy market, market wins, so on and so forth. Always market wins, or in most cases, market does win. So having a good understanding behind the market is really important. And this is definitely a service or an offering you can provide on top of your different areas of expertise. And it's a value add for you as a small freelancer or a software development agency, so on and so forth. If this didn't help you, please share it with others. And of course, if you have any questions or improvements to this document, this will be a living article. That's why I'm doing it as an article this time. So I'll be trying to improve upon this, maybe re-record the video down the road if needed, to help you better with competitor analysis and market research. Thank you very much.